Hello freelancers, this week's video is all going to be about some of my favourite books as a freelancer. Not all of them are going to be the most well-known ones, but they're ones that I feel like I've gone away and actually taken something from it. And I don't know if about you, but sometimes I feel like I read these fantastic books that everybody raves about, but then I come away and I don't feel like there's anything practical I take from them. Doesn't mean they're not a great read, but I feel like I want something to take away from them. So, the first book is Better Than Before. Let's see if I can get that. So, Better Than Before is by Gretchen Rubin, who you may know from the Happiness Project, I think it was called. And Gretchen has come up with this theory about how we approach external and internal expectations of ourselves. So she has these 4 tendencies framework, which I really would recommend you have a look at on her website, because it's a quiz to find out what you are. And it looks at whether you are somebody that responds best to internal, external expectations, or none at all. So there's 4 kinds. There's upholders, who I believe are the ones that deal particularly well with both, or they deal well with both internal and external expectations. So an example, if you're going to go to the gym, if you're an upholder, you would just go because you've told yourself to go. Whereas if you are, I'm trying to remember what the other ones are now. So there's rebel, who don't respond particularly well to either. They just do what they want, which is great in many ways, but it means that they're not pressurised by peer pressure and things like that, and they'll only really do things if they want to do it. You've got questioners, and I'm a questioner, and questioners are people that have to ask lots of questions before they agree to do something. So in theory they respect both internal and external expectations, but will only do something through external expectations if they understand exactly why, which is why I tend to ask a lot of questions. And then the third one, which I cannot remember the name of actually, but these are the guys that deal best with external expectations, and they're mostly motivated. So again, using the gym example, they would be the ones that would do best if they have an accountability partner to go with them, because they would feel guilty if they didn't. Now the reason this was really great for me, because it made me realise why sometimes I act in particular ways, why I have to ask a lot of questions, how that might impact on others, and therefore it's really interesting to understand your behaviour better. So Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin is definitely worth a read. The next one isn't really a business book in any way. It's called Everything I've Done That's Worked by Leslie Garner, and it was just a really lovely read. It was all of the kind of things that she'd done in her life that had worked really well. And I just felt like there were so many tips in there that I went away and thought I will implement those tips. It was just a lovely read. It was something that I could pick up at any point. And there's lots of things that from that book I've taken and implemented in my life. Rework. This is by Jason Fried and David Hansen. And these are the same guys that wrote Remote. I think they wrote Remote. That's a tongue twister. They wrote that afterwards. And Rework blew my mind, because it talks about how we don't have to all work in the same office. We can all work remotely. We don't have to go into these long meetings. That's ridiculous. You should have short to the point meetings. And it just talked about how we should be working now, not how we've always traditionally worked. If you're working in a traditional office and you feel like people need to get with the times a little bit, really would recommend either reading this or recommending it for your manager to read. But as a freelancer, it kind of blew my mind, because it made me realise that there are companies that are willing to work with freelancers and not have them in their offices, and it was the follow-up book Remote dives into that a bit more. Now on to audiobooks. Let's see if you can see that one. Quiet. Quiet is by Susan Cain, and Quiet is the book for a lot of people I know, introverted people, where they went, oh my god, light bulb moment, that's what I am. I'm an introvert. I need that time on my own to reboot, to recharge. And reading this made me realise why I love working from home, because I feel like I have my own space to work on things, to recharge, not be kind of drained by having lots of people around me. I still love spending time with people, but I have that recharge moment, which was really, really good for me. And it just made me understand a lot more about being an introvert. So if you suspect you are an introvert, quiet is an essential read. This is a really popular one, everyone's talking about it at the moment, The Big Leap. Big Leap is about when you reach a point where you feel like you've hit a bit of a ceiling, and it's usually an emotional ceiling, and you need to break through, and it's called an upper limit. And it just goes into how you can overcome those upper limit problems, and then take your business to the next level. Because I think that's something that freelancers face a lot. We grow our business to a point where then we can't grow it anymore, or don't feel like we can. And actually we can. We just need to break through the upper limit. The final one that I really enjoyed about a year ago was the Chimp Paradox. And the Chimp Paradox is about, it's essentially a take on NLP, so neurological language programming, and it talks about the chimp in your brain, which if you do any kind of coaching or NLP, you'll probably know it more as transactional analysis, so the adult, the parent and the child. I'm not going to go into it too much here, but it's a very interesting insight into why you make decisions, how you react to things, and how you can react in a better way. And if you feel like sometimes you go back to regress to a sort of child approach to some situations, or you beat yourself up a lot, that's very common as a freelancer. That's your parent area, that's your parent kind of thought process. It's a very interesting read to look how to act more like your adult, which is the best kind of version of you. So those are just a few of the books that I enjoy. I'd love to know what books you really enjoy and you found beneficial as a freelancer. There are quite a few others, and I'm sure we'll do another video like this in the future, but I just wanted to share some of my current favourites. So let me know in the comments what your favourite book is as a freelancer.